We here in Denver.
Yeah, man. Oh my gosh, the last time I saw you was in New York, I would say.
It was at Reversapalooza.
Talk to us about that. What is that? Engage the listeners.
It was an expression of passion for climate action and artists and music, and there was a game to engage people in the race to net zero. That's serious stuff, man. I'm not here to talk about that today.
Hey, I think that it's a good preface, though. You're coming in with some experience. You know, you've been working with a Web3 company for a number of years, and I think that's like really a good point to start. Like, you know, what was the project you were working on before your current state, but like the one that, you know, you left into the West to do?
On my Twitter handle, it says I'm recovering from carbon exuberance because I co-founded Nori, which was tokenizing carbon removal. And Nori is still alive and doing well, and I hope they launch their token soon. I stepped away January last year and haven't looked back. It's been really fun building up my current company, Carbon A-List, and doing a bunch of exciting consulting projects and helping scale up other people's businesses. That all boils down to people getting paid for climate action.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I was a huge supporter of you just like taking that leap in your career early on and just, you know, working in carbon offset removal is like, it's an important industry, and like you gain a lot of experience in that and working on protocols and with companies. So yeah, incredible stuff.
Yeah, it's complicated, and I should pitch a new podcast I'm starting called On the Climate Record, which is already out there. And so listen to that, where I get into some of the nuances on why carbon credits might not be the right product market fit, but the quest to create them is super important to create the kind of foundations for driving the change our planet needs to see.
Okay, like almost like the journey of each one of these organizations going, and like how are they using carbon tokens, and how are they implementing models that are, you know.
I mean, I think it's fascinating what PunDao came out with out the gate, really fast, lightning speed, tokenizing carbon offsets, doing interesting things. And then it's like, what next? And I think a lot of the companies that make it have to go through that transformation to realize it's not just about the carbon, it's about something more foundational, more systemic, that we're trying to elevate our consciousness to and really get there as a planet. And you can get caught up in carbon offsets, and that can be quite degenerative, actually. So it just, to anyone looking at this stuff, you have to really read the details, understand what is the money going to support, how does it support it, what are the strings attached, is the thing that I want to be happening. And the bottom line is there's 12 different ways to get there.
Yeah.
But hey, man.
And so there's no universal carbon token that is gonna work. You know, it's like that's such a can of worms, basically, is what you're saying. And like, it's really amazing to kind of think of all these people kind of getting up to a mountain, right? You know, like you've got all these different paths that people can take.
Yeah.
You know, but then what next question comes up? You know, like what is it really? Is it going to be as impactful? Is there big greenwashing there? You know, with big corporations buying carbon tokens that are, you know, planting monoculture trees in spaces and actually not, and then cutting those trees down, right? In another 10 years or something, because oh yeah, that was planted for those carbon credits, but then we need to forest it to plant another 10,000, you know, because it becomes this game, right? And you know, that is what Ethereum is, the infinite games, right?
Yeah, I mean, here we are at Eth-Denver, and we're looking at some people playing chess right across from us.
Yeah.
But
I hear it's an intense game. They're having a great time. We're here at the Harambe statue, and
I mean, I'm gonna go real on you now.
Okay, let's hear it.
Because I didn't come here to talk about climate. I came here to talk about PunDao. I believe that there should be the availability of someone to tell a good pun, and that to be worth something in the world. Like that to be worth a loaf of bread if you walk into the store and you can just walk out with the bread because you told a good pun.
So, I mean, that's amazing. And like I had mentioned that I have a friend who obsessed with good puns, you know, and he'll always be that one friend that you can text about a joke or a meme or, you know, a one-liner that represents just a situation, a moment, you know, and there's a lot of people out there. So like to create a currency and a public good is what you were saying around laughter.
Yeah, that's right. Laughter capital. Like, we need more people all around the world laughing because they find jokes hilarious. And like, I think mental health is a real ailment that's facing our society, and if more people were joking and had access to dad jokes, the world would be a better place. There's no question.
Yeah.
And to your friend, man, this is for you, because PunDao is just beginning. Like, it is a decentralized autonomous organization for anyone who loves puns. Drop into our DMs on Real PunDao in Twitter. We got like 5 followers, and maybe from this episode we'll get it up to a couple more.
Well, here's a little opportunity I'll share is what if we, as you sit here in this corner, overseeing all these different people, who do you think's got the best pun right now? Who do you think could get a membership on chain to this DAO? You've already mentioned someone that was interested in this idea, but looking at kind of the people you see in your eyesight. And what I'll offer is I'll go over, I'll politely talk to them, and come invite them to tell a pun on the pod.
All
to
right.
tell a pun on the pod.
All right. Yeah. Please, please do. I don't want to judge a book by the cover, so
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult.
I think you should pick it, but you got to ask them the question: would you like to become a member of the new pun economy?
Okay. I like that. I can do that. I mean, you could. I don't know. This is your idea. I want you to.
All right, let's go with this guy in the white shirt.
Yeah, he wanted to be on anyway. Are you tapping in? All right, we're tapping him in. Okay.
And we just threw with 0 notice on the top floor.
All right, we're taking a moment in this production because someone's making an announcement.
To hear that there's a rave on the top floor. There's a rave on the top floor. Okay.
If you were at Eth-Denver, you know. If you didn't make it, come next year.
Okay, cool. So we're introducing our friend.
Hello, my name's Devin. Oh, perfect. Yeah, without the earphones, I could barely. Oh, perfect. Is this live? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're recording. So, Devin,
Devin.
hey man, I wanted to ask if you wanted to become a member of the new pun economy.
What is that?
It's basically a DAO for people who believe in puns as a fundamental currency.
Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so basically you got to pun your way into it and tell a pun to get in. And, for our listeners who aren't familiar with like what makes a good pun can just slip in and out without noticing it in the sentence. Or it's a play on words. Like, that was an excellent sandwich. But yeah, putting you on the spot,
excellent.
man.
Well, if I may ask, what was the inspiration of, to create the pun economy?
Oh, that's a good question. I got really high like 4 days ago, and the next day I was sober and thought more about the idea that came to me when I was pretty stoned. And I realized there's something here. People need more puns and don't have an easy place to access puns.
Yeah.
So what if in PunDao we can actually secure a ledger of puns with proof of pun, which is elaborating and building on top of proof of stake blockchains.
Yeah.
Man, there's so many places this could go. So I'm so grateful to Dylan to letting me voice the importance for the new pun economy to come out into the world.
Vibes.
And, look, if you're listening to this want to go on Twitter and send Real PunDao your best pun, you can come in too. I know it's a lot to be put on the spot.
It's a lot. So you're asking me to do a pun right at the moment.
If you got one, if you didn't maybe even slip one in already.
Yeah.
The currency that you're like talking about is like laughter is more accessible to like a web 2 like audience, right? Like, oh, don't you know how to make someone laugh? Yeah, you can earn tokens by doing that. You can get free meals by telling a joke at a convenience store, like there are, and it can be valued, because there is a Bitcoin equivalent and it can be swapped pretty quickly and, what have you. So, think about it. I was really nervous. I don't have a pun on me right now. It will take me a little bit, but what is yours if you have one?
I don't have one at the. I'm not technical, and apparently I'm not funny either, man.
All good. Personally, I don't consider myself a funny guy either. Like, I'm kind of a pun pirate. I just go out and steal other people's puns and, try to work them in on my own. So maybe I'll just close this podcast up with telling a joke.
Okay.
So a horse walks into a bar and he orders a drink. And the bartender looks at him and he's like, "You've been coming here a lot, haven't you? And are you sure you're not worried about drinking? You're not an alcoholic?" And the horse kind of stops, mulls over it for a second, and he's like, I think I am. Poof. The horse disappears. Now, you would have gotten that joke if you were a philosophy student and you knew that that was referring to cogito ergo sum, I think, therefore I am, but that would be putting Descartes before the horse.
Oh, I know a little bit of Descartes, but Descartes. You got me there at the end, bro. Okay, I actually understood that one at the end.
This is the value of PunDao.
Yeah.
More people need to hear jokes like this.
Well, like when you look at just basic economics, when they explain to you the idea of like utility, there's a lot of different things that you could derive utility out of. Laugh does provide value to your life. Like at the end of the day, like when you initially said PunDao to me, I was like, oh, interesting. Like I don't see where the value would be, but then I think the whole thing with this Web3 and crypto is like we need to rethink how we evaluate stuff. Like we're valuing art differently. And the idea of valuing comedy differently is actually it's a very interesting concept within itself. So it was really cool.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, this is just the beginning. If you're listening and you are punny, like, get in on this, because we're creating a decentralized autonomous organization that starts with people and a community.
Yeah.
And these kind of interactions, and it goes online. And it quickly, if you can, and already these things exist, you can buy an NFT and make it a PunFT and use that as your access token to the DAO.
Yeah.
So a whole bunch of pathways to the new pun economy. We just need some people along for the ride.
Yeah, I mean, comedy's valuable, right? And it's a very underserved segment in terms of like people paying for it. So I think, there's something here, and as you guys like go through and rethink it, it's going to be a very interesting adventure. I can see it.
Boom! I'm feeling validated. Dylan, thank you for setting this up, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna hop back in. Thank you so much for spontaneously coming in. I've gotta love the curiosity. That's one thing that I've really enjoyed here at Eth-Denver is just like, who's curious enough to start a conversation and to engage in connection. And like, it starts with laughter. Funny moments, popping podcasts up and playing. Just generally like bringing back that childlike sense.
Yeah, may we never forget the inner children in us.
We were at Meow Wolf the other day, and we saw tons of kids running around having a blast. It's so good to see that. It helps you have more of a blast as well because they're having such a blast. Awesome, man. Well, any last words? What about three words to leave people here at Eth-Denver? You've already told a joke, but 3 words of kind of like aspiration. What are some things that it's inspirational, or think a mantra, something that's driven you in the past couple months? Before you thought of this pun idea, this pun idea is new, but what's one of those inner teachings that you like to share?
Yeah, man, I'm going to say more than 3 words. I would say we're all on our own journeys, and life gives us these amazing opportunities all the time if you're just willing to take it. But it starts with self, and it starts with loving yourself and loving the creativity around yourself and loving what you have.
Right, and like a little bit of me was doubting that we should even do this podcast. It was like, oh, is it gonna work? Okay, but we let it evolve, and it was perfect. Yeah, I mean, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing time and space with us. We will talk to you soon. You already dropped your details, right? Your information. How can people get in contact with you if they've made it this far in the pod?
Yeah, and if you want to find the real me on Twitter, it's just C Jospe, Jospe.
Okay, heard it here first. PunDao.